There is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed. Woodrow Wilson. We live in a world where many are ruled by sophistical logic when it comes to faith and sense of nationalism. For those people, it's impossible to comprehend why a person like me, a Muslim, born and raised in Iraq, is standing up for a group who are from a different faith in a different country. They assume my alliance must naturally fall with those who share my blood, my religion, contradicting everything they claim they are as good Muslims. Just for expressing my will for peace, I've been accused for working for the Israeli government and pushing an agenda. And no matter what I say or how little I say when it comes to politics, they still see me as a traitor, an attacker of the Arab cause, which is why today, and for the first time, I'm going to talk about politics. Before I state my thoughts, you must understand where I come from, and also why most Arabs feel threatened by Israel. As a child in Iraq, since first grade, we were taught that Israel and the US are our enemies. Our Ba'ath Party-controlled media would only talk about the sanctions US placed on Iraq, its casualties, assigning all the blame on them, and justifying our attacks on Israel and others as a warning and to defend our land. If you walk around Baghdad, you would see graffiti on the walls everywhere state, فَلْتَسْقُطْ أَمَرِكَ فَلْتَسْقُطْ إِسْرَائِيل, which translate, let America and Israel fall. Our everyday news consisted of Palestinian children throwing stones and Israeli soldiers holding weapons in front of them. Then we hear 19 or more Palestinians were killed as a result of a peaceful, weaponless protest against an unlawful and ruthless occupation. This is how, as a child, I was manipulated to hate and fear Americans and Israelis. I remember when Saddam was brought down in 2003, I was only 13. And for the first time, I saw an American soldier in Baghdad. I recited chapters from Quran as a prayer before death because I was expecting only one thing from these people, to shoot me. But then the soldier came forward and he gave me a flower. And at that moment, I knew everything I was taught was a lie, and I started questioning everything I heard. I knew I had to teach myself English to communicate with these foreigners and eventually travel to see the world for what it truly is. I believe my victory was the moment I burst the bubble Saddam regime kept me in. I learned that Americans don't want us all to be dead. I found out Israelis don't care to invade all our lands. You see, that was the method our government implicated to gain the response they wanted. They injected us with lies and fueled us with fear. It is that same fear that won't allow us to grow. It is that same lack of trust that will keep us forever at war. So now to consider proper solution. First, we must acknowledge vital facts, like the purpose behind every terrorist organizations like Hamas or ISIS, and the fact that they don't care about a cause or a soul, and how can we stop them? That being said, Israel has a huge task, as well as Palestine, as well as the rest of the world, and that is to fight those who promote hatred and violence. It may be hard to convince Arabs to accept people they resented for ages to coexist, but I don't think it's impossible. And I say this to all the Arab countries. by working with Israel and Palestine, by targeting terrorists who are controlling the West Bank and stopping those who fund them, by opening your doors to aid Palestinians and improve their means of life, by saving Palestinian children from the hands of militias, by providing them education and a chance to experience what a normal life is. Slowly, but eventually, we are building a less violent generation. Before I end my words, I'm going to leave on this note. One day I came across one fact, an ugly one that made me feel utterly ashamed. Knowing Iraq was on the wrong side of history during the Second World War, and to be here today in Germany discussing how to reach peace and negate ethnic and religious entitlements, I hope that my fellow Iraqis will join me to be on the right side of history this time. Thank you.